where other deals to end the showdown have bitten the dust. Let's bring in two congressmen from opposite sides of the aisle. Devin Nunes, Republican of California. Adam Smith, Democrat of Washington State. Gentlemen, is this going to pass in the House, yes or no?
Well, I think it'll pass overwhelmingly. I assume most of the Democrats will vote for it, and probably a big chunk of Republicans.
Congressman Smith?
I agree. Yeah, no, it seems like it's headed that way. Now, shame of it is, this is something we could have done, gosh, back before the end of October, for that matter. But at least we will finally be making some progress, although, as you noted, this only gets us a few months.
Yep. Speaking of that, I mean, isn't this what Americans hate, quite frankly, about you guys, members of Congress, that this is something that could have been done long ago, and here we are again?
Well, I would say it's difficult, and I understand why the American people are upset, but the bottom line is that to make cuts to government is hard for members to cast that vote. And I think the Republicans made a big mistake by thinking that Obamacare was going to be so unpopular that you would actually, by shutting down the government, that we would gain something. I think for Republicans to get back on track after this, it's going to take us to actually come out with free market health care ideas, to not just say that we're for defunding Obamacare, but to say what are we going to do to make the health care system better in this country.
Mm-hmm. Let me say two things about that, if I may. I mean, I completely agree. There's no question the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, could be improved. But the debate, unfortunately, wasn't about how to improve it. It was about how to kill it on the one side. And then on the budget side, and this is totally blown past everybody, the debate isn't over whether or not to get the deficit under control. We want to do that. President Obama put forward proposed entitlement cuts in his budget. The debate is that the Republicans continue to insist no new revenue, period. And that's the problem. And as we head towards January 15th, if we're just going to say cut entitlements but no new revenue, we're not going to get there. Both of those things have to be on the table.
But again, this is what Americans get so frustrated with. Again, we have sort of this kicking the can down the road mentality. Now we've got this December 13th or 15th or whatever it is, time to create a bipartisan budget committee. Really, really, because didn't we just do this with Simpson-Bowles 2 years ago?
Gretchen, look, I agree with you, but the country is divided on this question, too. I mean, the country wants the budget balanced. They don't want entitlements cut. They don't want taxes increased. So if the country wants us to solve this problem, they need to stand up and say, look, we know the deficit's going to require tough choices.
Yeah, but Congressman
and ask
Nunes,
for them instead of opposing
but Congressman Nunes, the President of the United States looked at that Simpson-Bowles committee report and he punted.
Right, and in all, to be fair here, so that you understand what's happening, this is not a super committee. This is not some bipartisan commission. This is actually following the Constitution. This is having the budget committees meet in a conference just like they're supposed to under the Constitution.
I get it.
And I think we need to do that.
I get it all, but the Senate hasn't passed a budget in how many years?
Well, they passed one this year, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, and that's the goal. The goal of having a conference committee is to hopefully come out with something. And look, it is going to take President Obama to lead on this, but at the same time, it's going to take Republicans to get 218 votes so that we can express the conservative voting patterns of this country. What we've been unwilling to do is get 218 votes for anything, which I, like my friend Adam Smith, we don't always agree, but we essentially turned the floor over to him, which is not wise when Republicans control the House.
Okay, real quickly to both of you, what do you think the phone calls are going to be coming into your offices today if, in fact, this thing is a done deal?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we still got a lot of work to do, as you pointed out. I hope we'll get a better understanding. I agree with Devin completely. I mean, part of the problem is the Republicans, they want entitlement reform, they want tax reform, they haven't passed it yet. So I think what the phone calls are going to be, finish the job. This isn't enough. It's great that the government is open, but you got a lot more work to do, so go get it done.
Congressman Nunes?
Yeah, I think that's right, and especially as it relates to health care reform. This really is our opportunity to actually come out with our ideas, Republican ideas. And if we spent the last 3 months talking about what we think it is, what would fix health care in this country, how we would have the choice of our own doctors, how we would make sure that our hospitals stay open, that would make sure that every American has good insurance. If we would have spent the last 3 months doing that, it would have been very productive. And we need to start doing that as a Republican conference.
All right. Fair and balanced debate. Thanks so much to both of you, gentlemen. I know you're tight on time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So there may be a deal in